Hello, welcome. Welcome. So I'm going live today to play catch up a little bit. We are painting the dancing cow today, part of the dancing farm animal series that we have been doing, and I had scheduled this last week for Friday and ended up just having a super busy day and wasn't able to get to it. And then I was going to try and do it this weekend, but again, it was just kind of a crazy weekend. So I'm here today to play a little catch up. If you're able to join, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. I know this is short notice, so if you're not able to paint with us today, you can definitely catch us on the replay. It will be available indefinitely, or until Facebook stops us. So while you guys get joined, I'm going to get on and make sure that we are good to go here. Make sure we've got good sound. Welcome, Carrie from Canada. Awesome. Thanks for joining. So I'm seeing comments. That's good. Make sure I can hear. Okay, we've got good sound as well. Let me turn off this fan here. I have a fan going. Okay. So like I said, we are painting the cow today, and if you're not able to paint along, it will be available for replay. So let's see. Welcome, Teresa. Just making sure I can see comments. So if you're new here today, if you caught this from Facebook sharing it or somebody else spreading the joy, my name is Byrdie Larsen, and I am the owner of Redbyrd Designs, where we teach people or teach women, folks, how to paint and enjoy the process of all that, and also do a little crafting. So it looks like Facebook kind of moved things around on me. I'm trying to just get to the comment section. There it is. A little bit different here. Always changing technology. So we have our online shop, which we have DIY kits for Redbyrd Designs. We also have a online paint membership called Redbird Retreat, where I teach women how to paint in the online space, to learn and grow, make connections with others in the group, in the membership, and then to just use painting to heal, because when we get into that creative state, there's so much healing, there's recharging, there's just so many benefits of painting. And so we have that, and then I also have the Joy Box, which is a DIY craft kit, a monthly craft kit, where you get a box of joy delivered to your door every month, and it contains everything to make a beautiful home decor. And we also have tutorials that go along with that craft kit. We go live, we teach it, and that's just been such a great joy to me to see the group grow and how everyone has different ways to create the same project. So it's just a little bit about myself if you're new here. If you're catching this on the replay, do comment replay. I love seeing when everyone's able to watch and who's able to paint and how far this goes. So, okay. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to switch the camera to the overhead view, and we will get started painting. All right. As I'm kind of getting started here, for all of our fun and free painting parties that we offer, we typically try and go live on Thursdays with these every week. Something very simple, just a quick 1 hour painting. And with that, we also offer a supply list and a tracer. So if you go to the events, the link to the tracer is in the event description. It takes you to my website, and we have all from current to past tutorials there. So you can kind of pick and choose what you want to paint, and then there's also a link to any past tutorials in there, so you can find the videos fairly quickly through that as well. But the download button will ask you for your email, and then we will email you, or my website does, a zip file that contains 3 PDFs, the supply list, the top tracer, and then the bottom tracer. You print those out, and then you're going to align them together. So we've just taken these two, aligned them, and take them together. And so that's your tracer. We are painting on 11 by 14 today. And so I'm going to take my tracer, I'm going to align it to my surface. I'm just painting on paper today. And then let's tape this down. So once you've got your tracer in place, we can take some graphite paper, and graphite paper has 2 sides. It's got the dull side and then also a shiny side, and the shiny side is where graphite is. So we're going to place that in between our tracer and our surface, and I'm going to have to trace, and then it looks like I'll have to adjust it a little bit here. Then we're just going to take our pencil and with a medium pressure get our lines traced. So if you're watching today, have you painted along with us before? Is this your first time here? Let me know in the comments. And if you've painted a fun and free with us, which one have you done? Or maybe you've done multiples. Okay. So we've got, let's see, Leah, welcome Leah, and Nicole, and Sarah's here. Welcome. Welcome guys. Alright, so before I take this off, you just want to make sure that you've got all of your elements traced, so take a peek at that, and if you need to go back, you can grab the elements that got forgotten, and then we can remove that. Alright, so I'm going to try and keep the original here to the side, and then I've got my paint palette here that's a mess but still usable. And so with the supply list you get what colors I'm using, but with painting there are no rules, and so I encourage you to grab the colors that you love, grab whatever close colors that you might have. You do not have to have the exact brand or shade that I have. So in this one I've got a white and a black. I have a light blue. I'm using an apple barrel blue cotton for the background. Apple barrel yellow for the flowers. I've got a cameo pink and then a cranberry. Or you could use just really any kind of bright pink that you have. For the greenery, I'm using apple barrel Kelly green. And I think that's it. All right, and then for the brushes today, I'm going to use a large flat for the background and to use on putting paint down in the larger areas. The bigger the brush, the more we can cover faster. And then a few different rounds. I've got a large round, a medium round, a small, and a liner. I'm going to see if I can find a different liner though. Liners are always kind of the first brushes to go for me. I don't buy super expensive brushes, and sometimes my liners get a little bit crazy. No, I just had it and then I threw it back into my, there it is. Okay. So a couple different rounds, a liner brush and a flat is all you're going to need today. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to start with the background first. I'm going to get a bunch of white on my palette here, and then a little bit of some blue. And we're going to do just a quick blended background between the two colors. So if you're watching, let me know if you've painted before too. Maybe you're here and haven't painted yet. You're kind of thinking maybe you would like to start, or there's some interest there. Or you're new to painting. Or maybe you're a seasoned painter. So let me know. Beginner, new, seasoned. Let me know what stage you're at in painting. Okay, so what I'm doing here for the background is I'm just loading my brush up with a bunch of white. And then I just do a quick little dip in that blue, and I'm coming out to my surface and doing a bunch of just crisscross random brush strokes. And also I'm being careful not to over blend. So I've got some nice areas of more of the darker blue that's kind of popping through, and then areas of more of a lighter white. And it gives us just that great blended kind of sky look in the background that we want. So a lot of white, a quick dip in the blue, and then we'll just quickly X's random brush strokes in your background. I'm also not being careful about coming in over the edge of my cow here. It just gives me a more natural looking background if I don't try and cut in around all of the element there, or the cow. When we cut in and create these hard lines around the cow, we get kind of a glowing effect. But if we just kind of drag that color just a little bit inside, we get more of a natural blend there. It's a light enough color that I can still see my traced image, so I'm not too worried about losing those lines. There we go. Okay, and then you can just kind of go back and either lighten it up or darken it up in different areas, however you want to do that. But it's a quick and easy background. Alright, so let's go get our first coat on our cow. We dropped a little bit of water there. and our cow is white and black, so I'm going to get some fresh white out that's not been messed with. I don't want to have any blue in my cow. And then a little bit of black. You don't need quite as much black as you do white, because black is just a little bit more potent. It's got more pigment in there. It covers fairly well, and so we just need a little bit of that. I'm going to start with the white, and I'm still going to use my large flat for this. If you want to switch brushes at any time, feel free to. Again, the way I paint and the brushes that I use are just suggestions. So if you're comfortable using a different brush, then please use that. Again, there are no rules, and brushes are really a personal, kind of a personal tool. As you paint more, if you're new to painting, you'll notice that you start to have a preference, whether it's a flat. I know a lot of artists prefer a flat brush, or they tend to lean to using a filbert a lot, or the round. And the round is really one of my favorite brushes, and I'll tend to grab that quite frequently. So use, if you're new, go ahead and just use what I have as a guide, and then if it just doesn't feel right, go ahead and switch to something else. And like I said, the more you paint, the more you'll know what brushes are for you. Alright, so I've got my large flat. I'm going to use that to put the base of my cow in here. We've got his shoulder back here. And we've got his shoulder on this side. Okay. I've got his ear that comes straight out and then kind of comes up at an angle right here. And then we'll come down the nose. And I'm going to work around the eye. The eye is black, but I'm going to come in with some gray first on that and get a little bit of color in on the eye before I commit to going black. I don't want to lose that quite yet, so we'll come back to that. And then right here where we have our chin kind of meeting that shoulder, I'm leaving just a little bit of a gap there where it's pure white, and I'm going to come in with some gray just to help define that again, so we don't lose that and it looks like just one flat piece with that black. And we'll come around the corner. So with my flat, because I'm fairly comfortable with using it in all different areas, I know that that brush stroke that I just did where I took it around the chin, you might want to switch to a smaller brush there if you're not comfortable using the large flat. So when you're using a flat brush like this, you can get two different types of brush strokes. If I hold it upright like this and keep it fairly perpendicular to the paper, I can get a nice thin line. Now if I change the direction of that and come at an angle, I can get and fill with a thick line. So as you work with brushes, not only will you develop favorites, but you'll also learn that depending on how you hold the brush and how much pressure you apply, you can get all sorts of different brush strokes. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to switch out now to a medium round, and we're going to start to build in some of the shadows in these gray areas. So I'm going to start by loading up my brush with black. And when you load up your brush, you really want to just push that paint around. It's not just a simple dip, because what you do when you just dip it, you're just getting paint just right on the very tip. But when you push your brush around in that paint a couple times, you dab it, you move it around, what you're doing now is you're loading up all the bristles, and that's really going to help you be able to push that paint around a lot easier. You're not going to struggle with just having maybe short brush strokes before you run out of paint. It just makes it a lot easier. So I encourage you to just really push that paint around and load it up. And you obviously don't want to pick it up and then have your paint glop down, but those bristles can hold a lot, which is really nice. Okay, so let's start up here in this area with the ear, and then we'll kind of work our way around. So I've got some nice gray area down here that kind of shows that that's the bottom of the ear, or it's kind of turned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load my brush up with black, and then I'm going to dip it in the white. So I've got both colors on my brush, and I like doing it this way because it's going to give me different grays as I brush out that color on my surface. Instead of trying to create a gray on your palette or using something out of the bottle, if I had done that, I wouldn't get this kind of bright white here or a lighter gray. And again, it just gives us that varying color that's kind of nice. Alright, so I'm going to leave the eye again for just a little bit. Well, actually, let's just go in and fill it with gray. So I've got the black and the white, and I'm just going to create kind of a little circle here. So if you notice in my eye, I've got kind of a gray outline around my eye, and then I come in with that darker black. So we're creating just that base color first, and then we'll come in with that pupil there. Okay. And then we also have these great eyelashes that cows have, so I'm going to again go back to that black and just a small little dip in the white. And I'm going to start here and kind of just create these little swooshes off the eye there. Make it just a little bit more of an oval here. So I'm bringing that eye kind of in a little bit. We got that little oval shape there. Okay. All right, going back, grabbing black, a little dip in the white. Let's create this gray transition here from the white fur into that black fur. So we're just going to do some quick little brush strokes down the nose. And I'm going to grab a little bit more white. I want to lighten it up even more. Okay. All right, and so then let's come around the bottom of the face here where we've got that transition between the face and the chin here. We're just going to, or the shoulder, again black and white, and if it's not getting light enough for you, just grab a little bit more white. And I'm doing just really short, small brush strokes. I want it to be kind of rough in texture, Kind of gives us that look of fur. And then I'm going to bring some of that gray down along the edge here, just for some highlights. Okay, we're just going to keep moving around. Bring a couple gray streaks under the chin here. Short, bold brush strokes. We're just going to keep going back into that black and white. And bring up that chin here. Bring some highlights into the shoulder back here. And we've got just his nose kind of got a little misshapen, so I'm going to kind of come around the nose a little bit and try and reshape that. And we've also got a line that kind of comes under the nose, between the nose and the bottom of the mouth there. So I'm going to bring a gray line through there. And then we're going to add the gray along that transition between the nose, the top there, and the black fur. So, oh my goodness, I just realized that it's snowing outside. That's great. Who's got snow? Who's got rain? What kind of weather are you guys dealing with? Okay, so I've got my eye filled in here with that gray. Then we're going to come in with some white and put in our eyelashes, just a little swoops. And I'm going to lighten them up just a little bit, add a little bit more white to my brush. Okay. Add a little more white over here, make them a little bit longer. Alright, so then we've got just this area under the ear on this side, and we've almost made it all the way around the cow. Alright, so I'm going to go kind of get a bit more white on my brush, and we'll add a little highlight on the top of the ears, just one brush stroke. Kind of the sun's hitting the top of his ears there. And we're going to leave that cow for a little bit now. Well, we're going to come to the nose section here, and then we'll let him dry, work on the flowers, and then come back with a little more detail. Alright, so for the nose, I am using that cameo pink, the light pink that I have. And we're going to stick with our medium round. And we're just going to fill in the nose. So if you're just joining, we are just doing a little bit of catch-up painting today. We had the cow scheduled for last Friday, and we ended up having a super busy Friday, and then wasn't able to squeeze it in this weekend, so. But I knew I wanted to get it done because Thursday, our regular scheduled fun and free paint party is a fun Mother's Day bouquet. So I didn't want to push anything back, so okay. And if you're just joining as well, if you want to paint along, you're catching this on the replay. The tracers for the cow and the supply list is in the event description, but also let me just throw that in the comments as well. That makes it a little easier, then you're not having to go search for it. So we got this, so copy, and we'll paste that there, and there we go. All right, that should help. All right, so what do you guys think of the cow so far? A little vacant-eyed a little bit. All right, so let's go put some flowers in. We'll let the cow dry and sit for a few minutes, and then we'll come back to it. So the flowers I'm putting in the crown are yellow, light pink, and then a bright pink. And I'm also using a green for some greenery, some leaves. And I'm going to continue using my medium round. We're going to grab some yellow, and we'll start with yellow. We've got a flower here, and the flowers are really just abstract roses, just messy blobs. We don't want to have a perfect circle. We want to have some resemblance of some petals. So I got two there, I got one up here, and we'll put one here. There we go. Alright, so first coat down, and yellow is really a really translucent color, so don't be nervous if you don't get great coverage that first layer. It's going to take a couple different layers for that to really start to fill in, especially with yellow. Do a quick little wash, and then we'll grab some of this bright pink. And I'm using the bright pink for some of the bigger flowers. But again, there are no rules. Use whatever color that you want for your flowers. Just making large, messy circles. And it's okay if they overlap, and it's okay even if they grab some of that other color and get dragged in, because this is just the first layer. So we'll be coming back over this, and we can clean it up. So I did want to mention that we do have, well, I mentioned it at the beginning, we have our Redbird Retreat membership. It's our online painting membership where we teach women, or I teach women, how to paint in a private community, and that is going to be opening up pretty soon. And so I just wanted to visit with you a little bit about that. If you're interested in learning how to paint, or Just maybe you know how to paint and you're looking for a community of like-minded artists and some different inspiration. Or if you've never painted before, we are a membership that is for all levels of painting, whatever level you're at in your painting journey. And my membership is, we came up with the name Redbird Retreat because my idea was to be able to bring a retreat to you in your home through painting, because a retreat is typically something that you travel for, or it's a couple day event, and it's meant for gaining kind of perspective. It's a time away from home. It allows you to recharge. It gets you out of the day-to-day so that you can focus on something other than the worries. And a retreat is just an amazing time. You come back, you're recharged, you're ready to tackle your chores or your to-do list or work or family or whatever. And when I created Redbird Retreat, my idea was to create a space that would allow that same concept to happen on a weekly basis, or however often you're able to paint and schedule time for yourself. Because we all need to have time for ourselves. We need to, make time to recharge our batteries, refill our cup. And so that is what Redbird Retreat is about. And if you are interested in something like that, keep your eye out for that coming up. We will be opening that the beginning of May, and we have tons of fun stuff planned for the upcoming weeks. So I took the light pink and I filled in my last little bits of flower, and now I'm just coming in with that gray or the green and kind of looking at where maybe I want to fill in with some little leaves, some empty spots maybe. And again, this is all just our base coat, so it might look a little light or translucent, but we will be coming over with more. When you're painting, the best method is to go with more light coats, or lighter coats, more layers. So one, it dries faster. Two, you've got better coverage if you're doing just light coats instead of trying to push a bunch of paint and glop it on so you get one big coverage. It ends up kind of creating this funky globby texture that, if you try to lay more color on, it can kind of pick up on you and create a mess. So the key is more layers, light coat. Okay, so let's let the flowers sit for a little bit and move down into the face and kind of add some more detail and finish this cute little cow off. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a solid black and put that pupil in there. I'm still just using my medium round for this. so you can start to see how those eyes are coming together. It's kind of looking a little freaky right now. Eyes are sometimes hard. Okay, so the next step then is to put a little bit of white right here at the top. So it's not just a blank stare. We've got some of that light that comes off that pupil a little bit. So we've got just a little bit of white that's going to sit right on the top there. And instantly we have a better looking eye just with that small little detail, with that small little white blob there. Alright, so I still have black on my brush. I'm just dipping this into the white, and I'm just going to kind of clean up my little eyelashes here a little bit. And I had one that was a little bit rogue right there. And then these ones are a little bit light, so we'll clean those up as well. Make them a little bit more of a swoop, a whoosh. There we go. So they're just a little arched brush stroke there. Okay, so let's go then and grab just black, and we've got these little nostrils that we need to put in. So I'm going to start by just kind of laying in a parenthesis on each side here, kind of where I want those to be, and then I'm just going to fill in just a little bit of those parentheses with a little oval inside there. And kind of just make them as big as you want. This is a really fun, whimsical painting, so don't get hung up on exact details or perfectionism or what we think it should look like. We're just having a fun, whimsical painting here. Okay, so then I'm going to take a little bit of black around the nose here and kind of define the top there. And I just kind of want to reshape the mouth here, down here. I've got just, I'm going to bring his chin in right here a little bit. So I'm just using black here to kind of redefine that, the chin part here. Kind of went out just a little bit too far. It's the great thing about painting. We can always just cover up what we don't like and start again. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to get black on my brush and just a little bit of some white. And I'm just going to kind of create some bold brush strokes in the black here. Kind of keeping with that black, it's just got just a titch of white in it, so it's a dark, dark gray. But I want to create some brush strokes in there to kind of mimic some fur. I'll do that on the other side as well, just a little bit of some white. You're just playing around between the white, you're bouncing back and forth between that white and the black. I'm going to get a little bit of white streak across the top of the nose here. And we'll streak some white through the mouth. Go up to these ears here and just add a little more gray underneath here. This one's a little dark and then this one's a little light, so I'm going to try and bring those a little closer together. There we go. And they don't have to be matching, so this ear's a little bit different than this one. We've got a little bit more fur here, and that's okay. We don't want to have this mirrored look because, well, that's not as natural. Alright, so I'm going to go to this blue here, and I'm going to streak some blue through the top. Again, something, just pulling in some of that blue from the background really helps kind of tie the whole thing together. So just some really bold blue brush strokes through. I'm going to add just a little bit of blue right to the top of the eye there, and then on this side as well. There we go. I'm going to go back to my white here. It's this messy white that's got a little bit of gray in it already, and I just want to, oh, it's too dark, let's just grab white and kind of streak some of that in my nose. We've got this really bright white middle here. See if I can grab and make just a really light gray. There we go. Create these brush strokes in the nose here to help kind of break up that white. And then I got a little bit too gray here. Let me grab some more white. Black sure goes a long way, guys. Always use it in small quantities. So I've got pure white now, and I'm just bringing that right onto that gray that I put in there, kind of helping to blend it back a little bit so it's not too strong. But I didn't want to have just pure white down the center there. There we go. That is looking better. All right. Let's move on to the flowers. Okay, so let's start with the yellow flowers. I'm going to load my brush up with this yellow, and I'm going to dip it in the white. Well, actually, let's put our second coat on. I'm going to come in with this yellow, add that second coat to these flowers. Okay, and then I'm going to dip my brush into the white, so I've got both colors on there. I've just got a little bit of the white on my tip, and I'm going to create a center spot. So So I'm going to find where I want my center, and you want your centers to be a little bit offset and not completely in the center of the flower, kind of random. So it looks like our flowers are kind of all pointing in different directions. And then from there, I'm going to create little parentheses or smiley faces. And I'm just going to build that right from the center out. And I'm going to try and keep them offset just a little bit. And as we go out, they're going to get just a little bit bigger as well. So we're going around the center, and they get bigger. And depending on the size of your flowers, you might only be able to fit maybe 1 or 2 brush strokes in there, and the bigger flowers you can fit more. Okay. Alright, so then we're going to go to our bright pink. Load your brush up with that bright pink. Let's put our second coat down. Then we're going to grab a little bit of white on our brush. You're going to find your center. We're going to add a little more white to our brush, and then we're going to create those parenthesis brush strokes. And with having both colors on our brush, we are creating a light pink, creating different shades of pink that are kind of radiating from that center and creating these great petals. So some are going to be light, some are going to be a little bit dark, depending on how much white you have on your brush. Okay. Alright, so then we're going to go to the light pink flowers, and I don't really need a second coat on my light pink flowers. That first coat did a really great coverage, so I'm going to load my brush up with pink. We're going to grab some white, we're going to place our centers, go back, grab more white, and start laying in our petals with those parenthesis shapes. Smiley faces. Or seeds even. Still got that combo of the light pink and the white on our brush. There we go. Alright, so let's go put a second coat on our leaves. And there we go. And then while I have green on my brush, and I should have done this with all the colors that I was working with, but we're going to create these little drops of paint. I'm just taking my brush, no brush stroke, just a dab, and our little cow is shaking the petals off his crown, essentially. So they're blowing away in the wind. So we're going to go back now and grab those colors that we were just working with, and we'll start with this light pink and dab some of those out here. Okay. Do a quick wash. Grab some of the yellow. One more there. And then we will do the dark pink. There we go. And then I'm going to end it with white. Just for some, it's going to be kind of hard to see the white, but it does And just help highlight that area up there too. Okay, so the last thing that I've got going on is we're going to do some defining lines with some black in our flowers and our leaves. We're going to do some movement lines, which are these little squiggles that are all the way around our cow. It kind of just gives us that effect that it's moving, there's movement there. And I also have little white berries in my crown, and I'm going to use the back of my brush for that. So let's do that first here. And I'm just going to dab some white dots in areas here, kind of peeking out between where two flowers are touching. You can also have them kind of right on top of your leaves. Maybe they're just kind of outside of the bouquet altogether, and this just poking out the top there. So just a few little dots. Okay, and I am going to just come back to my black and my gray here. I've just got an area right here that I'm going to bring some more gray in right there on the side of the face. Kind of reshape his face a little bit. I kind of got a little bit out of whack, but that's all right. Okay. And he's going to shrink the little mouth. And we had just a little spot down here on the chest. I'm just going to messily put a little black spot down there. A little highlight right on the nose there. There we go. Okay, so let's move on to the last step, which is our outlining. I'm going to use my liner brush for this and the black. I'm going to start with the flowers, and for the flowers I just really want to add maybe 2 or 3 black lines inside the flowers to just help define those petals just a little bit. And it just really helps them pop a little bit more. And then I'm going to just add some outlining to my leaves. And then we will add our fun little squiggles. So we'll start here at the top and just kind of create these little movement lines around the cow hair. And I'll add just a little bit in the crown, a few little squiggles up here. And there we go. That is our dancing cow. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys end up painting this, I would love to see your finished piece. I encourage you guys to share your artwork. There's so many benefits to sharing your art, and what you think might be bad art, others might love. There's a quote out there, I should have looked up who said it, but it essentially says, make art and let others decide if it's good or bad, but continue just making art. Make art for the process, for the joy of it, and let others decide if it's good or bad. Okay, so let me bring this up so you can see a little bit closer. Let's see a little more detail in that cow. Let's see those brush strokes in that dark gray. So we've got some really great fur there. Sad little eyes with some great eyelashes. And so before I let you go, let me show you all three from this series, I guess. So we've got the pig and the sheep and the cow. So all of these are available on our Facebook page. If you go to the video section of our Facebook page, there's a little tab for videos, and under the videos we have, well, we're trying to keep them organized, but there is an album called Fun and Free where we are putting all of our fun and free tutorials there, so you can go back and find those. But this series is just a cute and fun series to paint, so I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you find time to get into the process of creating art and finding joy in that process. It's about the process. It's not always about the end result, I guess. We don't have to create art to try and fill our home with art on the walls. It can just be something that you do in a journal and find joy in that process. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and like I said, share it in the event, share it on my page, share it in the discussions of this video. Or if you want to just send me a message and share it, I would love to see it, because I love seeing how everyone's creativity comes out when they're creating it, and everything's just a little bit different, and that is the beauty of art. So that is our rescheduled catch-up play or catch-up tutorial of our dancing cow. Let me see if there are any questions here. If I can see my comments. I'm not seeing anything. So, thanks for watching, guys. If you do have any questions, if you're catching this on the replay and have any questions, do drop them in the comments. I do keep my eye out on my videos, or if you want to message me, I'd be happy to help answer any questions that you have. So whether you're catching this live on the replay, I'd be happy to help. Okay, so I will let you guys go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining today. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, give me a thumbs up or a heart. If you could help me and spread the joy by, let me bring this out because I can't say the word. If you help me spread the joy and maybe inspire others to paint, that would be amazing. And then, as always, drop in the comments hi, so that I can see who's watching. All right, so I will let you go. Have a great day, or have a great week even, and hopefully you can join us on Thursday for the Flowers for Mom tutorial. We will talk to you later. Bye.